those of us, so for those who couldn't make it, this will be uploaded probably not by tomorrow, but hopefully by the end of the week to our website. I've already talked to our communications people. Today, we're going to be focusing in on just getting ready for the start of the school year. I know we covered a lot of this during the summer months, but just kind of a refresher if you missed the summer classes, we did the summer formations together. We're just kind of covering a little bit of what needs to come down the pipeline as we are getting ready to start this new year, 26, 27. That's kind of crazy.
Yes, it is.
It's pretty crazy. But for anyone who's not had a chance to meet us, I'm Peggy Klein. I am Youth and Campus Director for the Diocese of Lubbock. And I'm going to pass it over to the other Peggy real quick for who she is.
I am Sister Peggy Szeljack. If you ignore the Z, you'll probably be able to pronounce it. I sell anybody named Jack, to be honest. I am the Division Director for Evangelization and Family Faith Formation, which we just tend to call EF3. It's a lot easier.
So for this school year, we're going to have one a month. I'll share what next month's is about at the end of today. But we're going to be covering some different things. We have a few different guest speakers coming to speak at different times to provide information. Again, like I said, I'll always record these and have them uploaded just because I understand the craziness of everybody's schedule. You never know when you're going to get hit with, hey, my kid's got a basketball tournament and I did not have this on the calendar. So we're trying to make it as accessible as we can so we can be able to support you guys as you work in these wonderful ministries that you guys have graciously said yes to, because it's a lot of work and we acknowledge that it's a lot of work. And you will see some puppies jump out and you will probably see some kids run and say goodnight because life still continues on. But
you're going to say hi, Monty? Monty's going to say hi? There he is. No, you don't want to say hi? Oh, Monty. That's it. That's all of Monty.
now he knows what's going on, so he should be happier. But, well, I'm going to go ahead and get us started with a prayer because if we get done a little earlier than time, there should be a Q&A section for you guys. If during the time you have questions, drop them in. I've got that pulled up. So if we say something and you have a question, there should be a spot for you guys to type in your questions. And that way we can answer as much as we can to get you guys ready for the year. As we're getting ready to start this new year, I want us to take a moment and just focus ourselves in onto what is to come. So in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. As our students begin a new school year, I pray that you will keep them in your care. Send your Spirit to open their minds to all that is true and beautiful and good. Help them to see the gifts and talents you have given them and to them, and to use them well. Help them to grow in knowledge and wisdom. Help them to be kind to others and to lead others to be kind to them. Give their teachers patience and understanding, and help them teach what is just and true. Send your angels to guide and guard our children and to keep them from all harm. Open their hearts to your presence and enfold them in your peace and protection. Hold them in the palm of your hand and bring them home safely at day's end. Amen. Father, Son, Spirit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Sister, who's going to share her screen and do some reminders on some things.
Okay. Just as a check, Peggy, can you see that screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So where am I? I'm on my computer, and I've gone to the famous CatholicLubbock.org, and Catholic and Lubbock is one word. And in my case, I'm going to go down to the menu, and I am going to go to Safe Environment. When you get safe environment, you have a choice. I want online training. The beginning is always the same. And in case you need a direct line, this is Belinda's information. She is our coordinator for our Safe Environment program. And if you ever need a victim assistance coordinator, that's Oscar. The one I want to point out to you is the one that you can hardly see. It says Virtus, returning users. And hopefully you are all returning users. Unless you're brand new, then you would do it for the first time. So when you click on returning users, you come up with this lovely page here for signing in. And I'm glad it gives me my password, because for the life of me, I don't know that I could tell you my password anymore. When I sign in, oh, Peggy, it says Margaret. You have to use your legal name. And the one that I want to hit at is my report. When you see this, it goes down here and says that this is when I assigned and completed my last training. And by clicking on that little picture, you get to see my certificate. So I have another 3 years minus a few days left on my certificate. And then I have to renew it yet another time. So to get that, it's my report. And then if you want to see the certificate, it's that little box at the end. If you just want the dates, they're there. And of course, this is found under returning users. And it's at our diocesan website, which is catholiclubbock.org. That's how you get there.
Also, if you guys haven't gone on our website, there's usually a lot of good amount of materials to find on there. Like a lot of our registrations are on our website, pictures that our vocations has taken on, where you're looking for information from us. There's a directory. If you're sitting here going, wow, I don't know how to get a hold of this one parish, or do I want to Google what something is? Our directory has all the information you could use in here at your fingertips. And so if you ever are on there though and you realize, hey, this says there's a PCL and that's not the PCL, I'm the PCL, let us know. It takes a lot to keep this up to date and for how fast changes happen. That way we can keep things what's going on, but you can see with the directory how much we have listed times. If you're traveling and you're like, wow, I really wish I could go to mass at this place. What time do they have them? That's all in our directory on our website, along with ways to reach them. So like it's gonna say seminarians, and also organizations and stuff we have. I don't know, a lot of people realize that this is at where you can get them. But then there's also a bunch of information like on the youth pages, whole family faith formation, which I've sent, it's been sent. I did not check today. I ran out of time to see if it's been uploaded, but the first lesson has been approved by Bishop and it is on. I've sent them to get put on the website. I have to finish the PowerPoint, which is happening this week. It's almost finished. I just have to finish the translation one. Yeah, I'll have to. Whole family faith formation 26, 27. So that's right there for anyone that's doing whole family and wants to know where it is. More is coming. I just got the first 3 lessons approved and they are on that there along with previous lessons. So if you're looking for something to fill in and you don't want to get stuck in the Pinterest world or the Google world, you can always go look and see what we've had from out other dates. We've got extra resources on here just to help you guys out. Updated policies for our overnights. We're going to get to that a little bit later today. But just a lot of resources we've tried to provide to you guys. We don't want to blow your emails up constantly. So if you're ever wishing of something else, please go onto our website and see if we have maybe what you're looking for. If there's the confirmation curricula, it has eighth grade, high school, and everything within there too. So our website, we've tried to make it very easy for you guys to find everything you need. So like there's the lessons for confirmation.
So,
Oh wait, I'll go to sister.
is that okay?
Yeah.
So here we are. These are the lessons that are required. We have a diocesan curriculum for confirmation. And so when you click on, I'm going to pick on eighth grade. All right. Here's the lessons, a whole lot of information. When the bishop meets, what will he ask? If you're not having confirmation on a Sunday or on a solemnity, rather you're going to have it on a weekday, these are the lessons you need to use, and just all other kinds of stuff. But the most important that goes on right here for right now, at least for me, is the confirmation lessons for this coming year. And as you will notice, they are exactly the same as we had last year, with exceptions. So, first of all, this year we have a table of contents, and from there we have the lessons. We have some reminders talking about, for example, photography. Please make sure you've looked at that one. Talking about the attire. And as we told you when we met with you, stoles do not belong at a liturgical celebration. As we continue moving on, you will notice that there's things for you, resources. Then you'll actually get into the curriculum itself. What is different from last year and this year is you will notice after the first lesson, there's a whole lot of resources for you. And those resources are in a box, so they're new and just different options you have. And it just keeps going. We encourage questions. We encourage you to be able to ask us questions about needs, or if you come up with something and you would like to have us look at it to make sure, do not hesitate to ask at all. I was going to open up the high school for a second. And like the eighth grade one, you have the meetings with the bishop, you have, an examination of conscience, you have the actual lessons. And Peggy wrote this one, the other Peggy. And so she has a variety of ways this can be presented. And if you need to go through it and how to use it, like always, we have down at the bottom, if you need to contact one of us, this is how you do it. So that's the pluses and minuses of confirmation.
We have the high school all confirmation coming up in a couple weeks, and they're super excited about that coming down the pipeline. It's on August 30th. If you have high schoolers you have not given me the information for, please do so as soon as possible. We have 131 high schoolers at this moment for this sacrament on the 30th. So I've pretty much gotten certificates made. I'm working on the paperwork to get the baptismal certificates done. So if you realize, oh, I forgot to send that all by August 3rd to Peggy, please do so immediately because I'm getting ready to run labels for them. It's a very simple, it's going to be a big day. It's going to be a great day. We're working on simplifying it. So one of the big things we'll do is at 2:45 is when check-in starts. I'm going to have multiple people at a table. They check in, get their stickers. They get a chance to go get a light snack because it is a long day. And my goal is for nobody to pass out. That is always my goal. I can't say I've made it through a confirmation with a kid never passing out. I had like a span of 4 years where a boy always passed out. So if they need a light snack, because their sponsors need to be with them, and whoever is presenting the candidates, because since there's 18 parishes at this moment that are participating, I need a representative from each parish to present their students, whether it's 1 or 20. And I just need to know as well if they are also a sponsor because I'm making reserved seats for them, and I'll have the list of the students of the names you gave me. That way you don't have to remember to bring anything. I've already got those pretty much ready to go. My office is covered in confirmation. One of my offices is covered in confirmation. Then Bishop is going to have his meeting and he's going to lead rehearsal with them at 3:15. So from 2:45 to 3:15 we have check-in. It is very important we have everyone there by 3:15 because this is a quick time to set up and get this ready. He wants to meet with them. He's also pretty excited to get to do rehearsal with them. It's been a while since he's gotten to actually rehearse and prepare students for just coming to the sacrament. So he's looking forward to doing that. Then mass starts at 4:30. Since it is 131 students, we are not processing everybody in. The students and sponsors will already be seated, and then Bishop will process in. I've heard from, as of today, two of the pastors that they are coming to celebrate. I just had one email me this evening, so that's exciting to have them come. And then as soon as that's done, we're going to do a group picture. And then there is picture opportunities with Bishop afterwards. But a really cool thing that we're going to do, and something to keep in mind as you're reading and getting ready for confirmation the next year, is our diocesan photographer will also be taking pictures as the students are receiving their sacrament, as they're being anointed. If you think about weddings, what is it people want to see pictures of? They want to see pictures of the actual ceremony. So he's going to take pictures. And that is all going to be made available for free to families. We're still figuring out how's the best way. They will make them available, but he will make everything available to you guys for free so parents can stay seated and watching it. We will do, though, the pictures with Bishop after pretty fast. My bossy mom hat might come on because 131 students to get anointed and then to get their picture taken. It's going to be line up, smile, click, say hi to Bishop, and let's get the next person on. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a bit of a quick turnaround. And then where they did check in, we're going to have the certificates available. I am asking any PCL that is there participating in that day to kind of hang around and be one of the last groups of people to leave, just in case one of your students forgets their certificate. It would be easier for me to hand them to you and you guys be able to hunt them down and be like, hello, your certificate. So we've got that coming for the high school confirmation, which I think is going to be a fun day. I've been emailing with or texting with the musicians to make it very special. For the attire for that, it is Sunday best. If they want to wear red, white, blue, just the best they have for Sunday best. No gown, no like robes, no stoles. We'll ask them to remove them if they come wearing them, just so we can kind of keep that across the board, liturgically correct. And then that's what we've got for the high school confirmation coming up in a few days. And then a couple reminders that we didn't get to real quick with safe environment. September 30th is your deadline to submit your names for your catechists. Remember, we just need an email. We don't need pictures or certificates. Our safe environment coordinator can find all that very easily and tell us yes or no if they had safe environment. We just need their names. If they've recently been married, maybe send us the maiden name too. Since these last for 5 years, that happened to me. That I changed my last name and they went to do a check to make sure I had my stuff and I got told I didn't. And I was like, yes, I do. Oh, I got married 3 months ago. Let's change my last name. And I just redid my safe environment last month. So it didn't take too long. Um, but that's going down the pipeline. Then I'm gonna have sister, since she's still sharing her screen, jump over to overnights. I just want to show a couple things on overnight retreats. Okay, so updated forms for overnight. We are, like I said, over the summer trying to simplify this a bit. It now the overnight requests come to me instead of Deacon Adrian, because one of the things we discovered is every time they went to Deacon Adrian, then he had questions, so they got sent to me to clarify policies, procedures, everything with that. So instead of it all going to him first and then having the check done by me before it got sent to the committee, it is now being sent just to me. For summer trips, we do have a deadline cutoff for Steubenville's, and that will be January 30th, 31st, that last day of January to get those in. So, because we keep running into issues where we don't have time to get them sometimes approved. One of the things to see in there is until you have the diocesan approval to take the kids, the teens, on a trip, we are not supposed to be taking signups, fundraising, or sharing information about it. You can collect your volunteers so we can do that. One of the things we're adding with this year is if your volunteers, if their safe environment pops that they do not have current safe environment, then they have 2 weeks to get that fixed, or you need to replace them. Part of the reason is if they're volunteering with you and we find out they don't have a safe environment, then we need to get that fixed. So they've got 2 weeks to get that fixed, or they need to be replaced. Um, and because it does go in front of a committee, and not all of us have easy schedules sometimes. There's people that are in and out of the offices. And then also after it's approved, then Deacon Adrian takes them to Bishop and for his approval. And it can take up to a month. And so we were getting ones pretty consistently late. So we are going to put a deadline on it this year just because we don't want to reject somebody because we didn't get it in. So you'll see in the forms, it says an approximate number. We don't need an exact number of I'm taking 17 kids, here's their names. No, we just need an approximate. You're planning to take about 17 kids. Here's how many chaperones we have. That way we can just do that check of do we have enough? It's a chaperone ratio. It's 1 to 8. It's one adult to 8 kids as a chaperone. But you still have to be 2 deep. So you got your person in charge, then you start your chaperone list. That way you always have that extra amount of people. There's the youth liability release form. That's very cut, dry, simple. All youth need do that at the beginning of the year, and that will cover you for the whole school year, and you don't have to keep asking for them. Same with your adult liability forms. Just it's a protection for you too. You just never know when someone's going to get hurt. One thing I want to stress is the youth code of conduct. I've heard before, well, how do we keep kids, the troublemaker kids? How do we keep everything, where kids are following the rules? This code of conduct is what gives you what you need because it has the youth sign it about how they will behave. but you do then have to enforce it. So if we said room checks have happened and you're to stay in your room, but then you hear kids running around the rooms, it has to be reminded, hey, look, you signed this, go back to your room, let's be in there. And the reason is then if there is an incident and you're not enforcing the rules, then we can't protect the kids. We can't keep them safe. So please do those youth code of conducts. And there's also adult code of conducts. Never thought I'd have to write an adult code of conduct about, hey, guess what? This is how we have to behave was if we're in charge of taking minors. I've had to get onto adults for behavior of how they were conducting themselves when I've traveled when I was in a parish with volunteers. And that's when I discovered, hey, if they understand that this is how they are to behave, then simple. The biggest thing was we stopped at a restaurant and they ordered beers, not thinking that we're on a trip with teens. And then all of a sudden, here comes beer served. I'm like, why do you guys have beers? And they just had not thought of it. So that's where the adult code of conduct came from, is a protection too. Because if a kid then goes back to their parents and tells them, hey, they had a beer and then they drove me, we're all open to a bunch of problems. So those are to help that. And then there's a children's code if you're needing something for the younger ones. It's very simple. It's more written for elementary school. Youth is written for more of the high school traveling age. You can decide with middle school which one you need to use, depending on your middle schoolers. But that's just to help kind of keep the peace. Because there's nothing harder than when you have a troublemaker student that's not participating the way you need them to participate and they don't understand the rules. So that's just kind of what those are there for, is to help give you guys the support you need to say, hey, this is the expectation we have of your behavior. You won't say lewd words. I don't care if at home your parents don't care. We're not going to say certain words. So those are there just to help give you some help. So those are right there on the website, easily printable. I went through them. I updated them over this to see if anything needed to be changed. So they are all up to date for this year. It's just, like I said, it's a great way just to help keep you guys a little bit on the safe side. There's also driver forms available over here. Drivers must be 21. They may not be on this one with the overnight forms, but the driver forms are up there. They are adult driver forms. Must be 21. If you're running into issues where, well, we're doing something and there's a teen that has a driver's license and they want to drive, reach out to me. We can talk a few different things of ways to handle those teens that drive themselves, because you can't control them driving to and from, back and forth. We did have this past year one person inquire because the mom's schedule did not allow her to drop her child off for confirmation class. So she was just calling her kid an Uber to come drop her off. And the leadership wanted to make sure that was okay. We can't control how a parent sends a kid. But I just to maybe have parents, if they're going to do something, that you have writing that they have given permission that this is how their kid is to come and go, because it's 2026. It's a new year, new options, ways that we've never considered. Instead of being able to walk to school, now kids get Uber shares and get driven to school by some stranger. It's it's interesting to see how much is changing over the years. Um, we are in talks. We have not finished the talks about maybe lowering overnight retreats to a younger grade, but at this moment, we have not finished those talks yet. So if you need to do a retreat for right now, still for middle schoolers, which you can still do them, you can still do day retreats for middle schoolers. Please feel free to still be able to see them and what all they need. All right, sister, anything else you really needed to cover big that was on our website?
I thought I'd just point out that if one of your students brings a visitor with them, there is a form to have with the visitor, just so that you're aware of it.
And that's just to help keep you safe, that we don't always know medically what's going on with a visitor. I had this happen once in a parish that the cousin was helping visit. We didn't know the cousin suffered from seizures. And as VBS was winding down, this kid had a seizure and we didn't know anything about it. and we didn't have any information. So that visitor form is just a way that you guys can have the ability to say, hey, cousin's in town. Yeah, come to class with them. Just jot me down a little bit of information, mom and dad. So if something happens, we can reach you. It's just a way to help cover yourselves. Okay. Anything else on the website, sister, you'd like to point out?
Nope, I'm going to stop sharing that.
Okay. Okay, so now let me see if I can move this. I'm gonna show everybody in here real quick that if you want to unmute yourselves and ask any questions, we have time for you guys to ask any questions. Your videos still won't work, but you can unmute yourselves and ask any question, or if the Q&A is still available, you'll put that in. So any questions you have for the upcoming year, problems you need to quickly work out, please don't feel shy to share, because there's definitely probably someone has a question too. So any questions, concerns you have for the incoming year? Okay. This one wasn't going to be a super long one, just because we wanted just to touch base about the upcoming year. If there's anything you guys have question wise, I am going to share with you guys next month. We are doing it on Circle of Grace, and just getting ready for that. Oh, we'll go, because we didn't cover that today, but how we access the program. We've got a success story coming from one of our local parishes. She's agreed to share a witness about how that's gone for them. Some tips about making the most out of our lessons. And that's going to be on September 15th at 7 to 8 p.m. So if your catechists are not feeling confident in Circle of Grace as you're getting ready to start the year, please feel free to share the registration with them. I will be dropping the registration tomorrow afternoon to you all and on our social media. But that way you guys can reach out if there's any catechists struggling, saying you're getting pushback, why do we have to do that? We're going to offer a webinar on Circle of Grace, and excited to see how that goes. So mark those calendars, September 15th. I'll drop that registration then. And then I know everyone just started back to school, so trying to be respectful that probably everyone's kind of wiped out. I'll do one more open for questions. If you have a question and you were trying to ask it, make sure you're unmuted. I can't unmute y'all, but you can unmute yourselves. If there's any questions, I'm going to do one more call out. If not, we're going to close in prayer and end a little early tonight, because I know school has been a lot for everybody to get started back to. But don't let that stop you from asking a question. At least, okay. What is the deadline to complete Circle of Grace with our kids? It is by the end of October. And part of the reason that is with that is because it's important for the kids to know what a trusted adult is. And if we wait till the end of the year, then there's maybe a kid that needs it. So we recommend to get it done by the end of October.
Plus, the fact is, we have to send in forms.
We do.
So
we ask y'all for information. because there's people out there that ask us for information. And there's certain things, if we don't send it in, we get held with being uncompliant. And it's really not fun being on the uncompliant list. It's just really not. Everyone's cranky if we get put on the uncompliant list. Does everyone, yes, so everyone has access to Circle of Grace. Actually, I know we'll go over that then, but that way, if you're wanting to get it done beforehand,
Let me do that.
okay, I'll let you pull that one up real quick. It's pretty easy to get to.
Yes.
We've tried to make it as easy as we can.
Take
And
me just a second.
if you're somewhere, it's just pulling it up online to share with you guys. If you're somewhere and thinking, oh, my Wi-Fi is terrible, we do have copies on a USB drive that we can help share to you guys. So you can always plug that into your computer. Or we can always help you with figuring out ways to get it.
So we're back at our favorite webpage, catholiclubbock.org. Go to menu, ministries, down to faith formation, and the start is right here, directions. When you open up the directions, don't even go to safe environment yet. Open up the directions, and they will give you the two important things that you need. All of us have the same username, and all of us have the same password. Plus, it talks to you about how long a class should be and preparation and things like that. But the most important thing on this is in red, your username and your password. Again, that came from our website, Faith Formation, Directions, or Circle of Grace. And then to actually find Circle of Grace, the lessons, you go down under Safe Environment and you come up with the Circle of Grace, and it's going to ask you for the username and the password. But if you haven't, first of all, have those written down somewhere, you will run into trouble. So that's why the directions are on the Faith Formation page.
And if before we do this one in September, you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Um, I have done Circle of Grace for many years in a parish. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions. All right, glad we were able to get you that. All right, any last questions?
I have one. Speak now or send us an email.
We're going to end 20 minutes early. Like I said, I know a lot of places started school last week, or you're starting this week. I know quite a few places started today. But we're going to say a quick prayer for some rest. That way, everybody can have a restful night. And we look forward to seeing everybody September 15th so we can dive a little bit deeper into Circle of Grace. So we're going to end in prayer. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. King of Kings, Lords of Lords, thank you that your word revives my soul, gives me wisdom to mind and produce joy in my heart. As I lay down to sleep, I am reminded of your promise that those who hope in you will have their strength renewed. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Fill me with all strength and peace and believing, so that by your power I may be abundant in hope. Amen. Father, between now and September, any questions you have, please reach out to us. We look forward to seeing you guys again. And for those of you who are coming for high school confirmation, can't wait to see y'all. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Blessings. And again, this recording will be made available. And when we have the link, if you need to share it with anyone, please feel free to do so. Bye.